Namaskar, welcome back to our channel VLSI for All, a hub for technical education and an epicenter for affordable VLSI coaching in India. Today we are indeed proud and honored to have with us Mr. Chandra Pawa, who is a retired public servant, an author, environmentalist, and a child enabler and counselor. Sir, with your kind permission, can we start the interview?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm not
Sir,
getting video. Yeah.
yes, sir, it is fine. Sir, can you please introduce briefly about yourself and share your background as a retired public servant, author, environmentalist, and a child counselor?
Yes. I did my graduation in engineering from Aligarh Muslim University in 1974. And then I just wanted to do a job. At that time, there was a big crisis in the job. Placements were not like that. And government service was the main, public sector was the main source for the employment. So actually, after doing my graduation, I got appointment in UP State Legislative Board. Now it has been divided in three parts. This State Legislative Board constituted transmission, distribution, and generation. So earlier these were combined. Now these are separated in three units. So later on, I joined generation. So I did work in all the three sectors: generation, transmission, and distribution. Then in the last leg of my career, I was working in generation.
Yes, sir. Also, sir, what motivated you to pursue your career in the public service?
Actually, as I have already told, that at that time there was not much employment in private sector, and I got the opportunity. That's all. I don't know exact reason what motivated me, but of course, one thing comes to my mind. Though it's a difficult question, we have to introspect before answering this question. So I just, because you asked this question, so I searched myself. So I found that it was, I thought that it is better to serve for public when people are there. So public sector is best to serve. So because we are directly giving our services to the people. So that would not have been possible in private sector. So that was something in my mind that motivated me to join public sector.
Yes, sir. So moving on here, could you please tell us about your most significant? Yes, sir. Moving on, could you please tell us about your most significant accomplishment or experiences during your time as a public servant?
I think my biggest accomplishment is this, that I got some highest kind of technical skills, because I was basically not doing anything with the people. Normally this happens in distribution when you are in direct contact with the people, but in transmission and distribution, mostly you are generating electricity at the power station, or in transmission you are posted at the substation, or you are doing some transmission lines or design work in both the sectors, generation and transmission. So my accomplishment is this, that I did the highest technical job, rather than distribution is rather not very technical, and it's only maintaining supply for the public people. So of course these all the sectors, generation, transmission, and distribution are for the people only. We generate for the people only. So it is a service to the people. But generation gives you a lot of opportunity to learn, and transmission also gives a lot of opportunity. So I served in transmission design, and in generation I served in all the wings. I mean, maintenance, operation, and later on I was in the project management. So my biggest accomplishment is, if I can pinpoint, that is 400 kV, 800 kV substation design, which I did in Uttar Pradesh. And second accomplishment is that I was involved in the, I was fully in the total charge of making of two power stations, 250 into 2 units of 250 megawatt and 2 units of 210 megawatt, which job was total monitoring, planning and management of the project. And of course, technical point of view, everything I had an opportunity to learn. That's my accomplishment in particular.
Yes, sir. That is very great to know, sir. That is very inspiring. So moving on to the
Thank you.
next segment of our interview. So being an author myself, I also have won like the 2 national literary festivals. I would like to ask this question to you. How did you venture
Yeah.
into writing, and what inspired you in your first book?
Oh yes, actually your the previous questions and this, how I have motivated and I have got into that. It's really not that easy to answer, but of course, when I introspect, so I find that getting into writing was not an idea that I will go into writing after retirement. You know, something I think the main reason I got into writing is that I was reading too much. From a childhood, I was reading a lot of fictions, comics initially, then I was reading later on in adulthood. I I just read, you know, I was reading Hindi poets, Hindi literature, like, you know, Nirala and Acharya Chatur Sen. Then later on in English also, after during my graduation and even after graduation in my job, I was reading and reading every time. And reading is my was my you can say hobby. So I read many fictions, many poetry books, all, you know, Shakespeare, Blake, and of course, one thing I remember that I used to read articles also, journals, articles, whatever came to my way. I just read everything. So reading inspired me. Why not? Why should I write? So that idea came to my mind. I got into it.
Yes, sir. That is very good to know, sir. It was like you didn't even think of coming into writing, and you automatically, in a natural way, came into the scope of writing. So moving
Yes.
on here, I would like to ask you the second question of all of question here. Could you tell us about your writing process and how do you approach in creating meaningful content for your readers?
Okay, actually, because since I am reading everything, I mean, from if you start from newspaper, magazines, journals, and international also, I read New York Times, Washington Post, and so many. You know, I try to gather knowledge and what is happening in the world. I mean, I see a lot of chaos, and in environment, you are climate change. There are a lot of discussions. There are a lot of things are going on. So I just basically I wanted to write poetry. So my all the books are in poetry. So I express my feelings. I mean, about society, about social disparities, social discrimination, racism, casteism, and of course gender bias, woman empowerment, whatever. So a basic theme is I'm writing for the social themes, and because I am also interested in environment, so I am writing on environment also for children also, and my poetry on environment education is one book about environment education. So these are my fields. I try to, you know, do whatever by means of poetry.
Yes, sir. Moving on here, sir. I would also
Yes.
like to ask this one. Have you faced any challenges as an author, and how did you usually overcome it?
Yeah, I have faced challenges. Actually, my theme was not for profit. So it was not about profit. So my challenge was to how to, people should read it at least. This is the biggest challenge. I mean, if I write something and people don't read it, and for everybody knows that lot of marketing you need, promotion you need. So I just couldn't do that. That is my challenge. If I can do so, I couldn't achieve that much in that direction.
Yes, sir. Um, in one of your previous questions, you talked about environment. So I would like
Yes.
to further continue the interview by asking some questions on environment. So,
Okay.
sir,
Yes.
what sparked your interest in environmentalism and how do you contribute to the environmental causes?
Yes, this in environment, how I got inspired was, when I was getting retired. So I was one thing very clear in my mind. After retirement, I will not go and do some consultancy. Just a government job. Normally either you do consultancy for 3-4 years or do some other job. So I was not. This was my idea to go for the social service. So it's a very. I just want to narrate my story. So I was discussing with my subordinates and colleagues, what should I do after retirement? So suggest me something. So somebody suggested go in the environment. Achha, since environment is a little bit, a technical thing. I mean, you need lot to know. I mean, technology also comes into environment. So because I'm a technocrat, so I thought that let's start from the environment, and it's a big issue, international big issue. So I should pursue this field and do service in this field to the people.
Yes, sir. Moving on the same topic, could you please share some of your notable initiatives or projects related to environmental conservation?
Yes, actually, I am working in an NGO. This is Citizen Environment Improvement Society. So I'm member there, executive council member. So at the initial stage, I did, without any NGO for 1 or 2 years, I was teaching environment to the children, underprivileged children, in their classes from class 3 to class 10. I was teaching them environment. I mean, there are different topics like, waste management, and water pollution, plastics, whatever, for the children only. So my later on, when I got into the NGO after 1 or so that is a big organization. So they were composting the waste. That was the how to manage waste. So whatever waste were coming from different sources, that was being converted into waste. So there is a composting plant. Vermicomposting was done by worms. So that was the one thing. Other thing was there was a herbal garden. So to create awareness about biodiversity, we had established a herbal garden there with 20 varieties of herbs, and we kept on innovating more, researching more what suits in the Noida soil. Basic thing is then we started awareness programs. That is a rather more professional way of doing it. So we covered around 50-60 schools. We did workshops in various schools of like big schools like DPS, Delhi Public Schools, Shiv Nazar schools, all very good schools. And of course, simultaneously we maintained the same thing with underprivileged schools also. So we took both the things we were doing. So there were workshops about waste management, and separate workshops on air pollution, then climate change. So we did a lot of work on that with the different subjects of environment. And main was our waste management, which after workshop at their school, we used to invite children, or at our environment park, they used to there was a demonstration about how to convert waste into biodegradable waste into compost. So then we installed so many models also, solar panel, and of course, there was a herbal garden. That was a very natural environment. You can say it's a forest area. So, and tree plantation at not at a very big scale, but the schools also. We established so many herbal gardens at many RWAs and schools, small herbal gardens, and of course, wherever we could do it, we established composting beds in schools also, government schools also, and taught them to children after giving them demonstration how to make it. And in RWS, we also did that same thing. In many sectors of Noida, we established composting beds. And because we are breeding these worms at our environment park, so we even provide these worms to the RWS if they continue. So
yes, sir.
So
that is very inspiring.
Yes.
That is very inspiring, sir. How do you like? What is this concept of environment park? Can you please throw some light on it?
Yeah.
You were talking about environment park.
What?
You were talking about the environment park. Can you please throw some light on it?
Environment park is a forest area. This authority given us to convert biodegradable waste, their waste. I mean, in a particular sector, the waste was generated. Then that was sent to that park, and we used to compost it after segregation of plastic and after segregating everything. We used to compost it, and that manure was given to authority. I mean, after doing that, so I mean, we were selling it to them because they wanted their waste to be converted into compost, and they were using that compost into their parks, different parks. So they gave us some, land sort of, and we made so many beds there. You can say composting pits with the bricks.
Yes, sir.
So we were composting there and giving back them the compost. That was their interest was that the whole waste will be converted and they don't have to manage waste. We were managing waste on their part, and in return we were giving them compost. Now, of course, there is some expenditure, so they used to give us some money. So that's why we had staff and everybody doing there. So that is the concept. And then we established a herbal garden there, and we started, awareness programs also there. Children used to come and see.
Yes, sir. So with your work, we can safely assume that you put the community first. It's a community-driven environmental project.
Yeah.
With your experience, sir, I can safely infer that this is a community-driven environmental project. You put the community first, and they are doing the things.
Yes, of course, you are right. Because our aim was, because it's a non-for-profit. Our aim was not to earn, just to create awareness. One thing is that you are converting waste into compost. That's a good thing. I mean, and if you're just demonstrating it before the children that we are doing this, so that is, of course, that is a community service also. And we did of our own, not with the authority, we did of our own. We projects we did of our own, not with related with that, and we just made composting beds in schools and RWs also. If they requested us, and we went there and we created awareness to the RWS people also, how to compost it. And then regarding herbal garden, it's the same thing. We created herbal garden, whosoever liked it, and we went there and we did workshop there in the RWS and the schools also. So everywhere, whosoever comes, hospitals also. I mean, there is a waste everywhere. so we kept on doing in all domains of, Noida, all field. Yes.
So moving on to the third part of our interview on the child education and you being the child counselor. So I'll be asking you questions based on that. First question up, sir. What inspired you to become so involved in child education and child development?
Yes, it's a matter of chance. When I retired, some colleague came to me, okay, I am a member of a school, underprivileged school, of primary school. So let's come and see that school. So I went there and I got interest in children. So I started, doing some work for children. Like, I wanted to do some certain reforms because underprivileged children uh, we are giving education, so we should give them quality education. And so I joined there. Then in a year or so, I was member, and then I was in the management also. So for the last 12 years, I'm in the management committee of one primary school, having 500 children up to class 5th. So we are giving them education free of cost. So it improved in stages. Previously, there were a lot of difficulties. Then we made extended our building and got very good toilets. Then later we just established a computer room where 50 computers were installed. And in different next stage, we just provided RO water to them. Noida water is very, very hard. So we are giving them neat and clean water. And we just gave them a very, to be remain very disciplined. And about environment, of course, I was from environment. So I was doing all sorts of things regarding environment in the school. And then we started certain reforms regarding that they should learn something conceptually, and rote learning should be avoided. So that system we evolved. Later on, we created a lab also, science models, these things. So just to improve the quality of education, that was our aim. So we did a lot in that. We achieved it.
Yes, sir. So moving on here, have you encountered any particular
Hello.
challenge in your work as a child education enabler and counselor, and how did you address them?
Actually, basically, I was teaching there in the class 3, class 4, and environment. I was teaching them, and also giving practical training. So actually, counselor, I am not a counselor in that school. I am counselor in some other organization. So this organization is a Siddharth Memorial Charitable Trust. I happen to go there because they are picking up children, underprivileged children, for the higher education. So it was a problem for us how to, after 5th, this was a primary school, how to educate after 5th. So they pick up, 10 to 15 children from our school. So because we were already having contact, because they used to take 10, 15 children from our school. So I had an idea that they used to get, admitted them to the other public schools. So free education to these children. So I thought that after that, when they do 12th, our school children from 5th, they go to this Siddharth. Then what about these children after 12th? So I joined then Siddharth also. So I was counseling these children, 10th, 11th, 12th, basically, and sometimes at 8th or 7th level also, to make aware about the career. So I started that with the view that the children from this primary school now have getting education from higher education from Siddharth, with the support of Siddharth Memorial. So they should be, after that, what next? That is the only thing that they should, because they are poor people, their background
Yes.
is not. It is like, parenting. Who will tell them where to go? So that concept came to my mind, and I started counseling these children for their better future prospects and career.
Yes, sir. So one more question in this sector. Could you share a memorable success story or experience from your work with those kind of children who have excelled in their life?
Yes, that is a very good question. actually, when you do something, you definitely want some results. That's the idea. So I always wanted some result. I should show some result. Basically, these children are not very good in studies because of their background. There is no parenting, so their background is such that hardly very one or two students are good. So mostly are either below average or average. So it's very difficult to compete, with the outside children, like in public school. So they can't get admission in the university. They can't get admission in the engineering or medical. So I had an idea that those who are good, they should continue with their education. Otherwise, they should do for some skill development. So I just tried that what to do. So my aim was how to get uh, these children into some skill. So skill basically, I found out that there are certain diploma courses. So my achievement is that I got result there. So those children who are having 50%, 55%, and the children were thinking, oh, after doing 12th, okay, we will see, we'll do some graduation from the open school or somewhere. So they joined diploma. They got selected, and this is my achievement. They got selected, and in a good institute, and they will be better placed. So these are the results I have. What I was thinking, I have got with so many children, of course, and those children were good. So there are certain students also who are doing engineering, and now there are certain students are in fine arts. They are very good in the dancing, in fine arts, and there are certain students in the animation. So we try to give them skills. So Siddharth Memorial also impart them not exactly skill, but awareness for the skill, and they make in the Siddharth Memorial Charitable Trust itself. They are asking mentors and volunteers to teach them something or make them aware or familiar with the skill. Suppose somebody is interested in dancing, but he doesn't know. So we just ask volunteers to teach them dancing, and in the same way fine arts, and in the same way photography, in the same way there are so many skills. So just I can't say that this is skill center, but later on if they develop a skill, then we can get them admitted into the diplomas, like diploma in animation. So we support them financially also that way. So we are getting good results.
Yes, sir. That is very humble of you knowing that one, sir. So, moving
Yeah.
on here, sir. Before I close the interview, there are two more questions I would like to ask. The first one is
Yes.
that what would you advise to young graduates like me who are willing to go abroad for in the search of good job, better salary perspectives, better health, etc.? What would you advise such people?
No, going abroad, I don't think that it is something wrong. I think they should go abroad and do something in their career. I don't think there should be any hurdle. I have just clarify this question. I have not understood. So, I mean,
No, sir. I was asking, what
yeah.
advice would you give to graduates like me, young people like me, who are willing to go abroad and are willing to come back and serve the country? Like, what are the advice you want to give? Like, at what age they might come back, like that?
I think it's an individual choice, although. But if you ask my opinion, so if they, it is everybody knows there's where there are certain plus and minus points. So if they go there and learn something, get some skill also, so they can come to India and they can, because we have got a lot of facilities here. We have got a lot of facility in the sense that they can go for the startup also. So at a later date, they can innovate something. Uh, as you have said, semiconductors. Uh, they can because after coming back, they can start a new career, and there is no harm in coming back if you have some aim, and what skill you have developed there or what you have learned there. If you can utilize in India, the thing is better.
Yes, sir. That is very true, sir. Also, there's one last question, sir. How can people connect to you, like learn about your work with you, or support your initiatives? Is there any email ID or connection like that, or LinkedIn is the only
Yes, I
source?
got yes. I got a email ID. So how can I give? I don't know. Social media. I'm on Facebook. I am on LinkedIn. I am on Instagram. I am on WhatsApp. These are the
Yeah.
things. And of course, I am on WhatsApp phone. Uh, of course, this is the only communication we can do. And
Yes.
contacting is, this is the only way. They can most welcome. They can connect me.
Yes, sir. With your permission, we'll be dropping down your LinkedIn profile in the description of our YouTube channel. If people are
Yes.
interested, they can contact you.
Yes, of course, on LinkedIn, because yes, you have started from the LinkedIn only, so they can contact me. Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
It was indeed very great talking to you, sir. As an engineer myself and as a young student, it is very inspiring to see you talking and me interviewing your this one. Hope to see you on yet another episode on our YouTube channel. Until then, goodbye, audience. Study hard and take care. Signing off. This is Anurag. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Anurag. Thank you.